So happy Thanksgiving Eve, everybody. And let's start by just dropping into a relaxed state. So inviting everyone to, and I'm going to mute you, Candace, but I will unmute you as soon as when it's time to call on people. Um, so let's just start by dropping in. And as always, we start by taking some breaths at our own pace, consciously breathing. And we use this conscious breath time to let go of whatever else we were doing or thinking about before the coming into the class. And as we let go of where we were, we come to our center. Whatever you be, it might be your heart, it might be your third eye, it might be your crown chakra, it might be your genitals or your power center. We all have different ideas of where our center lies. But coming into your, we're going to grow and we are going to share deeply. Tonight's going to be a deep, intimate sharing. And each of you is going to get equal time. It's not going to be the Scott show. It's going to be each of you really having equal time. Really look at what adjustments you want to make in your life. And celebrating some of the 12 months where you're really strong, celebrating some of the that you already really don't do too much anymore, and then acknowledging where's there room for growth. What's a place where you're willing to commit with the support and the encouragement of this group to make some wonderful positive changes in your life. And so we just drop into how perfectly human we all are. We're living the world of right and wrong, good and bad. We're all doing the best we can at all times. And I'm celebrating your commitment to being a part of this group and your commitment to being alive this time, being in a human body, sharing your light, your love, and your medicine with the world. And so when you're ready, open your eyes and I invite you to go to gallery view. You can see the group and see these other beautiful souls. And for you, Candace, I'm unmuting you. And just so you know, in the group tonight we have Mimi, Debbie Garcia, Michaela, Daniel, Mandy, Allison, and Anna Prabha. That's who's with us. It's wonderful. We have people from Hawaii and Canada, and the East Coast, and San Diego, and Texas. So it's a wonderful combination of people. And so I'm going to pull up the document that we're working with, the 12 adjustments. And Candace, maybe what we'll do is you can just kind of pay attention to what people are sharing that they're working on. And I'll just one more time briefly go through kind of the 12 adjustments. And so Candace, you can pay attention and listen, see which ones you relate to. And everyone's going to get a chance to solve which of what we call the red words they really don't struggle with anymore. And which of the green words they already embrace and are pretty good with. But then we're also going to acknowledge which of the red words we still struggle with and are challenged by, and which of the green words we're committing to embracing more of. So we're going, the 12 red words or 12 red ways of being are resistance, make wrong, judgment, guilt, blame, shame, criticism, comparison and jealousy, the reactive mind or reptile brain, grasping, being attached to an outcome, deception, and playing victim. Those are the 12 ways of being that we all have done, we all recognize that we're wanting to let go of. And we let go of those ways of being by adjusting to these beautiful fields of energy, these beautiful intentions of willingness, curiosity, compassion, acceptance, understanding, reassurance, appreciation, celebration or compersion, a vulnerable, open heart, being receptive with an open mind, being transparent, and really taking responsibility for our life, which is empowerment. And so what I'd like to do is ask each person to take 3 or 4 minutes. I'll kind of keep an eye on the timing. For each person to take 3 or 4 minutes, again, to share where are you good at celebrating these things, celebrating where you're good at it, and acknowledging your struggles, where you still struggle, and any commitment you're willing to make with the group. And welcome Sharon Hinckley. So who would like to go first? Who's our first person who'd like to kind of do the practice tonight? Do we have a volunteer? Can you all hear me? Because it actually looks like everyone's frozen.
I see Sharon waving her hands.
If nobody wants to go, I'll go first, Scott.
Okay, Anaprabha, you're up. And I'm actually going to put the, because we can barely see you, so I'm going to put the spotlight back on the document. But you're up, and please do share.
Oh, yeah, thank you. Now, I am going to exit 5. Hopefully I don't miss it. So thanks. I think for me, what still I work with is this grasping and attached. And I see where I have shame around that, and also where I have, now I'm opening up and having curiosity around it. And I'm able to, relationships, it seems, make some healthy boundaries, which feels good, and working with curiosity and a willingness to look at it and feel it actually, and accept it actually, that I feel have that. And I think also comparison and jealousy, I can have that as well. I mean, I think that's there, and also judgment. But I'm also able to really watch these things because of, this work we've been doing, and just having some curiosity around it, and the willingness to really to feel my feelings and then put out what I'm needing, and that feels good. And so I'd like to make a commitment to really, with the grasping and attached to, be willing to feel that and look at it and move into receiving an open mind. That's it. Open mind around it, and not get into the story. So thank you for hearing.
So first of all, thank you for going first. And I noticed that you kind of talked about the areas that you struggle with. So because I know you well, I want to just acknowledge the areas that I've observed that I think you're wonderful at. Um, I think you are wonderful at being transparent. I found you to be wonderful with appreciation and definitely curiosity and seeking to understand. You always have a wonderful student's mind, whether you're in class or when I've been coaching you. So I really just want to acknowledge the areas where you are really well developed, Anaprabha. And of course, I'm also doing that because I want to celebrate you, but I also want to encourage people that it's to look at where we want to grow, but it's also wonderful to take a look at the areas where we are well developed. So let's all twinkle on a Prabha. And thank you again for being willing to be the first one to go. I really appreciate that. I think I heard Daniel say that he was ready to go. Is that accurate, Daniel?
I did not say that, but I am willing to go.
Okay. I thought I heard somebody else at the time that Anaprabha started.
Oh,
so
because I
anyway.
saw Sharon going like this, and I was trying to let you know that I saw she was ready.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Oh, okay.
Daniel wants to go.
Go ahead, Sharon. I'll go after you, okay?
Okay.
Okay, so Sharon's up, and then we'll do Daniel up to Sharon.
Can we have the sheet again, or did I lose that?
Absolutely. There it is.
Yeah, thank you.
There it is.
I would say from the time that I met you to now, I feel like I've made huge progress. As you know, I use a short list because this is a lot of things to keep track of at one time. But someone on the last call was saying that someone had said something to her, and she said, oh, you're right, I was wrong, or what have you. And I don't know that I'm always that far, but the last time my son was at home, he gave me a big talking to about stuff. And creativity and organization don't live in the same planet. I know you and I have had the banana wars in the past, but we'll keep that under wraps. Anyway, I was so proud of myself because I listened to everything that he said. I've made a lot of the corrections, but the thing I was really proud of was I didn't say, well, what about all your stuff that's in the shed? Or what about your things that are still in the closet? I didn't do that. And I just, part of learning to talk, I realized the even bigger part is learning when to keep your mouth shut. And I kept my mouth shut. And I just felt so good about that. So where was that? I guess I was accepting. So I was moving out of guilt into acceptance. Yeah, I have a little bit of shame that I'm not better organized, but I'm a work in progress. Let's see, what else? Yeah, I was willing to hear what he had to say. Let's see, what else? Do I have everything on the list? You know, I'm not really good at deception except for when I'm giving a surprise party, because you have to have a pretty good memory to be deceptive, and I'm not good enough at remembering stuff. So I have a tendency to just say what I'm thinking, whereas I don't know if I was gonna say deception. Yeah, I'm pretty straightforward, and empowered responsibility. Oh. The new term that I've learned that I really like for that is to respond from your ability, because I could go back and look at some of the things that I've done, and I'm like, oh, well, I wouldn't do that now because I have more ability now, but I didn't then. So I guess that's, yeah, a way of showing kindness to both myself and to other people. So anyway, that's, yeah.
Beautiful. Well, thank you, Sharon. You're so well. I really want to acknowledge my experience of you. Some things you didn't mention is you're definitely very, very willing and very curious, and you have a very open mind. You know, you're very receptive, and you also are really beautiful with appreciation. You've given me some wonderful appreciation and some wonderful acceptance over the years. So I appreciate you a lot. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Daniel, you are up.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, Daniel.
You hear me?
Yeah, we sure can.
Cool. Can we get the sheet again up on the screen?
You sure can.
Thanks.
Daniel got us on.
Where's that? Is that Laura?
Yeah, I muted us now.
Oh, good.
Oh, good. Laura made it. Yay.
Right on. So, yeah, I look at this list, the red side, and I've gotten a lot better at all of it with, I think, with work I've done on myself in the last several years. And at the same time, I think I can think of, I can think of an example of everything on that list that I have done or still might do sometimes, even if it's rare. So, resistance, I resist when, I find myself resisting when someone tells me what to do and how to do it still. And I've gotten much better at making wrong, but I noticed myself this morning, I did it again in a really subtle way, just like making myself right, like saying, see, if we would have just done what I said 2 days ago, then this wouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
And so we lost a few bananas because we didn't harvest them in time. And I still have judgments, for sure. And I still use guilt as a way to keep me on track if I'm starting to get off the road and I start to hear the rumble strip on the side of the road. I think of that as the guilt. It's like a communication, like, hey, this is a early warning opportunity to get back on the road. So, and I'm not blaming. I can't remember a blame for a while. I do still feel shame sometimes when I'm, I guess, yeah, when I think people are judging me, you know, or if I'm afraid somebody's going to judge me if I reveal something about myself. And you know, I used to criticize my younger brother when we were growing up, and I've apologized to him so many times, and that's something I used to do a lot as a kid. And it's interesting because I looked at the video from last week again about criticism, and you said there's no such thing as constructive criticism. Yeah, I went to art school, and you know, we had a critique every week, and it was constructive criticism. But you know, some people would leave the room crying. You know, it was not an easy thing to face. You know, so yeah, I relate to the setting the sensitivity dial a little bit more so that there's actually no such thing as constructive criticism. I appreciate that sensitivity that you bring to that. I think I'm talking a lot. Let's see, comparison and jealousy, not too. I guess, I went to, I find when I go to a place where there's, like I went to glass school this summer, and I was amongst a lot of great and good glass artists, and I ended up comparing myself to others, and it takes me down a few notches when I do that. A lot better at the reactive mind. I'm taking the pause, taking a breath. I'm a lot better at grasping. I don't remember anything. Deception, maybe just in not being utterly transparent about everything because of afraid of that shame or I guess afraid of judgment and being, and then it's interesting also that what you said about being a victim, it's not necessarily poor me, but buying into anybody's story that is sort of having a judgment about me or a judgment about me because I'm a certain thing or a certain way, I have certain beliefs. And sometimes I still do like feel myself, go down a little bit in energy when I hear a judgment of me. I'm still not impervious to the judgments. Yeah. And then there's the green side.
Maybe can you pick because you did go through all of it, which I appreciate. Can you pick just a couple of the, what's one or two green words you really want to focus on really bringing more into your life? Like what are the two, these are the ones I really want more of?
I think, with the victim, the last one, I would really love to be able to not let, to like really embody what anybody else thinks or says about me is none of my business. So my empowered responsibility there. And also bringing more compassion when I get judgmental of myself and others. Those two.
Beautiful.
Thanks.
Daniel, thank you so much. Thank you. Really appreciating you a lot. Appreciating everybody.
Thank you.
We've got to twinkle Sharon, so now I'm feeling guilty about asking to twinkle. So let's twinkle Daniel and Sharon. And I'm glad to see that Laura made it and Erin made it. Great. So those of you coming in late, everybody's going to go through and just kind of share, if they want to, where they stand with the 12 adjustments. Who'd like to go next? Mimi and then Allison. It'll be Mimi and then Allison.
First of all, hi beauties. I want to just send lots of love to Debbie and healing, like her wholeness. So, yeah. Debbie's
under the weather, so let's all twinkle Debbie, and I was thinking actually we'll do a little prayer for her at the end. So
yes,
because we love Debbie very much.
I'm feeling into that for a moment, so thank you for taking care of yourself tonight and resting. I would like to acknowledge that I have aced the red zone. Like I am a champ at that whole.
Yes. All right.
So I just want to congratulate myself on really getting all of that down. The parts that I would say actually that Anaprava, she and I were joking around last week on the conversation around jealousy. So I'll just focus on that for a moment. Jealousy, I've had like a lot of around. Like I don't like it. It's just there's a lot of there's not a lot of volume for me there other than kind of shut off. So I think that those are like I have shut off or I have push away. That as a parent, I would say, oh man, I'm really great at like guilting, blaming, shaming. I know criticism. and victim. So I just want to focus on victim for one moment. And the victim was the story around it really quickly is my daughter was talking about she had agreed that she would take responsibility, get her stuff done in the mornings if she could get an iPad. Of course, she doesn't get stuff done in the mornings. Therefore, I got into threat mode of, okay, if you don't do what you say you're going to do, I'm just going to remove the iPad. And I was like, how do you do parenting without those things? Like, it's just the box that I was raised in, and it's the natural box that I like to dance upon on a regular basis. So I really look at that and like kind of I get really curious about it. So I would say curiosity and my willingness with a vulnerable heart, and vulnerability not leading back to I'm such a terrible human. I can't believe like. And so, like, I joke around about just putting money aside for their therapy. Like, I'm really sorry that I'm so, that I don't have all of these things yet. So, so I'm really excited about the green zone and practicing that a lot. And I feel like I get the green zone after about 24 hours of being in the red zone. Like, I'm hot. And then I'm like, okay, cool down, take a walk. I do have one celebration, one huge celebration, and that was that I recognized the resistance in an argument. I recognized that, so this is the victim to empowered responsibility. I recognized that instead of hearing a person's no, I was ready to take it to the next level, and that there was resistance. And so instead of pushing past the resistance, like I heard this yell, hey, there's resistance here. What's the resistance? So that's the curiosity. And instead of making him wrong, I just recognized that he was trying to say no. And that was really powerful. And afterwards, I didn't like that he said no. But I did recognize that I was not doing the make wrong and got into, oh, there's resistance. How can I get curious about that? So thank you.
That's all, Twinkle Mimi. Thank you. And I just have to have a Love Coach Scott moment. Mimi, I'd love to encourage you to put attention on shifting from shame to acceptance. Because although it's cute and adorable, and I appreciate the self-deprecating sense of humor and the humility of that, you know, and there's a beautiful humility there. But there's also, I perceive some shame that you're not further along, that you're not more this, that, or the other thing. And that's where really, of all those words, I think acceptance is the most important one for all of us. Because if we can radically accept ourselves, exactly who we are, everything we've done to this point, from that place of acceptance and self-love, it's actually easier to embrace everything else. So I just really wanted to put that out there because I think you're awesome. You're absolutely awesome.
Thank you, beautiful. Received. I love that gracefully. Thank you. Yes. Thank you.
All right. So we go from one redhead to another redhead. It's our redheaded sisters. Allison, you're up. And
Hi,
Allison,
friends. Can you hear me?
we can. And do you prefer for us to have a spotlight on you, or do you want me to pull the sheet back up?
I'm happy to have everybody decide. I don't need the sheet because I know what I need to work on. I'm very clear on it, especially as we are hosting Thanksgiving for everyone tomorrow. And my in-laws are quite conservative, and they watch mostly just Fox News. And my other side, I'm the daughter of a professor and a musician and artsy, and grew up in Eugene, Oregon, which is Hippieville, USA. So the two sides of the family are coming together, as that happens every year. But I would say we're in quite of a fraught political moment. I hope you all agree in this country. And I am terrified that somebody's going to bring up politics, and I am not sure how I will handle that. And I am the hostess, so I need to set the tone in a loving, gracious way, so that we can all feel connected and grateful to be together and not focus on our differences, but those things that we share, like the love of each other and our family. So I started out wanting to avoid any possible political discussion completely. I said to my husband, can we just have a no politics rule? And then my husband said, you know what? I think if you draw attention to something by making a rule about it, it's more likely to have people holding tension about it. And perhaps it might be better if we just have a judgment-free zone. And if things start to get a little fraught, then we can segue out of it. Or we can just say, I really value your opinion, and I'd love to talk to you about it at another time. Right now, though, I could really use some help with the cranberry sauce or whatever. So I'm trying to stay out of judgment. It is difficult. Some of the things that come out of my in-laws' mouths are things that make me cringe. And I try so hard to be compassionate and loving, because they are people who have been deeply wounded in their past, and that's why they are judgy, and that's why they have the views that they hold. And I'm also trying to explain it all to my children in a way that's age appropriate, respectful of my in-laws, respectful of my own values, and staying in compassion, because it is so easy to go into judgment when people talk about those darn immigrants or whatever, like it is really a trigger for me. So I'm asking all of you beautiful souls to send me some grace, because I'm scared. I'm scared every year. We host every year because we're the peacemaking family that can pull everybody together. And I'm always worried that we're going to blow it this year. So I'm trying to stay very clear that I am coming through this with gratitude and love, and that's what this holiday is about. And I want to just welcome people in with an open heart. And I don't have to agree with everything they say, but I do have to keep my heart open. I can still stand by my own values without being judgy. And I'm just gonna that's my mantra. Don't judge. Compassion first. Don't judge. So I'm really nervous, but I'm going to do my best. I'm sorry, I didn't go through the whole list. I didn't follow the rules. Should I have gone through the whole list? I'm sorry, Scott.
I think what you shared was beautiful, and you can always put more into the chat box, so that the chat box, that's one of the things, the chat box. And just, first of all, let's all twinkle. And as we twinkle, we bless and know that absolutely maximum grace for Allison and her family. And just a couple of quick little pointers. It's hard for me not to jump in. Remember that underneath any judgment we have are our unmet needs and values, right? And so if you hear something that really drives you crazy, what you do is you just, the quick burst of, as Marshall Rosenberg would say, an emergency dose of self-empathy. Oh my God, I can't believe she said that. I'm noticing I'm feeling agitated. It's not meeting my value for kindness, care, consideration, whatever it is, whatever value is not being met. And then, can my care for these in-laws, can my care for these people supersede my judgment? And the answer will always be yes, because you drop into the beauty of your care. And your care absolutely will always supersede that judgmental reaction. And you can celebrate your values that are not being met. You just keep it all within yourself. So anyway, blessings. All right. Who would like to go next? And Candace, whenever you're ready, just wave your hand and I'll unmute you. Okay. Who'd like to go next? Michaela from Canada.
Hello.
Hi, Michaela.
Well, I think I want to start with a celebration. I'm pulling up the list on my phone here. Yeah, I've done this practice with you, Scott, like 3 times at least. And what in the past, what's always been just so screamingly loud for me is my judgment, guilt, shame, blame, criticism, make wrong towards myself. And just like being stuck there. Like I couldn't even like move past the list because that was so loud for me. And it's something I've just really struggled with my whole life. And yeah, just like now looking at this list, I'm just, it's so not as loud as it used to be. I mean, I still struggle, you know, I still have criticism and shame for myself, but it's just not nearly as loud as it used to be. So I'm celebrating that. And yeah, I think what I'm noticing is standing out most for what I'm struggling with is well, resistance has actually come up quite a bit. Yeah, and even make wrong, and just kind of getting stuck in having more compassion when there's something up, particularly with my partner, if he's upset with me, and yeah, getting stuck where I'm usually able to be understanding. I can understand where he's coming from, but compassion is where I get stuck, where I just like kind of will freeze, and it's not always that way. I do have a good amount of compassion, but I can definitely improve there. Yeah, as well as I think what I would really want to improve is celebration, being in celebration just in general about life and you know, this amazing life that I get to live. And yeah, also empowered responsibility and transparency, actually. I find myself, I suppose, like, being in fear of what is really going on for me and what that's going to look like to other people, and how that will be taken, how I might be judged. So sometimes I will hide maybe what's true for me. And then I find that when I'm transparent, I'm usually just making it all up in my head, of course. But yeah, so that's my share.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Michaela. It's so perfectly human. So perfectly human. Yeah. And again, just a reminder, give yourself that burst of self-empathy when your partner or somebody, you know, when you feel judged or criticized, take that breath, notice, acknowledge the discomfort. Don't stop it. Acknowledge the discomfort and then drop into what you're feeling and what you're needing, right? And remember, you're magnificent. And we all of us are always doing the best that we can, always. I'm so enjoying hearing from each of you. We've just got a few left. Who'd like to go next? Is that Laura waving her hand? Great. Laura, you're up. Whoops. Can't hear you.
Okay, there we go.
There
Ready?
we go. Yep,
You guys
absolutely.
hear us?
Yep.
Hi.
And do you need me to put the sheet up on the screen, or are you good?
Oh, yeah, if you could put the sheet up on the screen, that would be great.
You got it.
Well, Rob says that he knows. Okay, so what were the two, Rob, that you want to go first?
Well, as it turns out, I guess make wrong and judgment. I've got a lot of issues with that. I tend to actually look for it. I mean, you know, it's not like it's not prominent already, but you know, I'm actually kind of looking for it, and I'm really trying to work on it, not just because it offends the woman that I love, because I do get kind of judgmental, which is probably DNA from my dad. So those two, criticism's hard for me. Not really.
Is it hard in terms of that you are critical, or is it hard in terms of receiving criticism?
No, when people criticize me,
Yeah.
it gets a little, I don't know, just uneasy. I don't react and blow a gasket or anything. I do try to make wrong though. The other ones I'm looking through, I don't try to compare. I'm not really jealous too much, I guess.
So I just want to say, for like, if we're going into make wrong and judgment, then we would want to lean into right curiosity and compassion.
Yeah. Which.
Well, I think you're working on that a lot.
Yeah, I am.
And.
But it's, you know, for the curiosity and compassion, I can tell when Laura is not doing too well.
Yeah.
And I have to, I don't know, I guess I got to make ready to find out, you know, what's going on for her, because it's not an automatic for me. It's like, it's like an on and off switch.
Yeah.
I got to actually flick the switch on to be curious. I don't know why that is.
Yeah, I think because I think what happens with a lot of human beings is sometimes when we were younger, if we were curious, then maybe we got like a bad reaction, right?
Right.
So it's about that safety valve within ourselves. Like, okay, so if I ask this person what might be going on for them, then I'm going to get a barrage of maybe blame or judgment or shame, or, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah, that's going to probably happen tomorrow when I call my mother.
So, okay. And then for me, I said that I was working on the empowered responsibility. So, you know, like getting away from victim mode. And I'm always working on reactive mind and, you know, trying to lean into a vulnerable heart, which is hard. And also I get really, I really can feel a lot of shame, and I don't know exactly where that comes from, but I'm very aware of it. And in our relationship and just within myself, I just try to really, it's almost like I preempt reassurance all the time, right? Would you say?
Absolutely.
I live in the world of reassurance.
Yeah.
And
it's like, honey, this is where you say.
Yeah. I just, you know, reassurance goes a long way in my world, but I realize that it's mostly about me giving myself reassurance, you know, that I'm okay. And, you know,
yeah.
So I just want to say, I want to celebrate like a little thing that happened. My brothers, we're at my brother's house, and there's a little crisis with the dog. The dog's probably passing away, and everybody's very reactive.
Oh,
and,
boy. Oh, that's hard.
Yeah, it's really hard. And so people are acting a little bit out of character. And, but I just, you know, when I went downstairs to get a glass of water right now, I just did the contrary action, because we were thinking like, well, maybe we would leave early, but instead I did the contrary action. I said, I'm going to be available for whatever you need. I just sort of, you know, dug deep on my courage. And, you know, I just want to celebrate that in these kind of communities, that it gives me the strength to do that. So
Beautiful.
thanks, you guys.
Beautiful. Thank you. Big twinkling to both Rob and Laura. It's always fun to watch as a couple kind of interact with each other. And so thank you for bringing couple consciousness to our group. Thank you very much for that.
Yeah.
And you're a beautiful couple. I'm glad you're able to get on. I know you're challenged by that. All right. Erin, are you ready to go? Erin, I'm trying to unmute you, and you know what? Sometimes it lets me unmute people. It's not letting me unmute you. So you got to unmute yourself. Well, while he's working on that, I'll check in with you, Candace. Oh, we lost Candace, actually. Man, do you want to share anything tonight? I've unmuted you. Mandy.
I'm pretty tired, but I have been listening.
Yeah. Okay.
All
right.
I do want to set the intention that, I want to try to use more of the red light, yellow light, and the tools and stuff.
Beautiful. Thank you, Mandy. Thank you. And I know that you've had a long and a big day. So I'm really glad you took the time to be with us, and you're a precious member of our community. Thank you. And yes, we all need to know to use red and yellow light, the connected timeouts. It's really important. And all of you as coaches, please have all your clients watch the video. And that video really describes it, and it's such a game changer. So the only person, we haven't heard from Debbie, and I don't think, my understanding was that Debbie wasn't going to share tonight. If that's changed, Debbie, just unmute yourself. Erin, your camera's not on. Do you want to share, Erin? Going once, going twice. All right, well, I will share briefly, and then I think we'll wrap it up. It'll be a shorter class tonight. So I too am very human, and believe me, all the things on the red I have challenged with and still have to face challenge with sometimes. I'd say that some of my hard ones that I'm still working on, definitely shame is my hardest one. I'm pretty hard on myself that I haven't accomplished more in my life, and there's times that I get really down on myself for not being more effective as a leader, or not taking Love Coach Academy further than I have. See, immediately creates reaction. Deception has been a huge issue for me throughout my life. I grew up with a family that was very deceptive, and I just grew up that that's the way you are. You just don't tell the truth, unless the truth is going to get you what you want. But if the truth isn't good enough, you embellish or you hide. So being deceptive is always something that I have to struggle, that I've struggled with all my life, that I have to be careful with. And definitely grasping. There's times I get attached. I really want something, and I grasp for it too much. And so those are ones that are still especially tricky for me. And I would say that when I look at the green words, what I really want to embrace more of, well, definitely celebration and compersion. I'm having to work on that a lot with Emily and her boyfriend live next door. So I'm definitely working with that one a lot. And receiving, really learning to receive, to not try and make it happen. But a big part of my current spiritual growth is, instead of manifesting it and picturing and grasping, and I got to make this happen, really dropping into how does life want to experience itself through me. And as Reverend Michael teaches, how to really catch what is already existing in consciousness and bring that through my life. So I would say being receptive is a really big one, and that requires an open mind and an open heart. So those are the big ones for me. Thank you. Thank you for the twinkles. Did we twinkle Lauren, Rob? I hope we did. So twinkling, everybody. Aaron, you're back on camera. Do you want to share? Cool. I need you to unmute.
Yes, I can go now. Sorry about that.
Okay,
I've
great.
finally got it on my phone that's sharing the connection. It's better.
Okay.
So yeah, this has been a really good process for me. I'm so grateful for this. I love to celebrate this kind of gift of awareness. In my work lately, it's been a real humbling experience to really reflect on what you have here in this list. And the things like the make wrong, the judgment, the criticism, both within the self, myself, and say my reflections at work, where like a lot of synchronicities are required at the same time to achieve the goal. And when certain people seem to be just not caring to show up with their part, it's so easy to make wrong or say, come on, and so it's just been such a good practice to empathize and to go into that green zone of heart space from that red zone and, really practice love in action and empathy in action and compassion and all that good green stuff that is the curiosity and keeping it fun, keeping it light and inspiring through representing that green heart space energy instead of that red sort of retaliatory or like make wrong, that's not right. So yeah, that's my share on this. I'm just so grateful for this community and all I'm learning in it. So thank you all.
Oh, thank you, Aaron. Beautiful. Have you noticed what a beautiful voice Aaron has? He has just a beautiful voice, just a really lovely resonance. Something I really appreciate about you, and I appreciate all of your commitment to heart and to doing this work. So it's going to be a short class tonight, which is probably good. Give everybody a chance to prepare for the holidays. Share connected timeouts with as many people as you can. It's the holidays, and as Allison described, it's like, people come together and all the old family issues get triggered and people's fears and people's stuff gets triggered. So remember, our prime directive when the differences come up and the differences are inevitable, the prime directive is to seek to understand each other. Not to be in right, wrong, not to be in good, bad, but just to understand each other. Let's just keep understanding each other. We're leaving the world of right and wrong. We're leaving the world of good and bad. And we're just entering that beautiful, precious place that Rumi spoke of. Beyond the castle walls of right and wrong, that beautiful field where we're just seeking to understand each other. So that's kind of my closing message. I'm grateful for each and every one of you. I'm really, really grateful for this class. I'm loving it. And I love each and every one of you. I honor each one of you. And let's close by sending our love to Debbie Garcia. I'm going to put the spotlight on Debbie. And let's just hold the vision. She is going to be filled with maximum grace for her healing and all that good vibe, all that gratitude energy that she puts out to the world is going to come back. And she's going to be healthier, stronger than ever before. Lots and lots of love to Debbie Garcia. Love you, Debbie. All right. Thank you, everybody. Have a great Thanksgiving. Look forward to my next connection. See you all on Saturday. Good night.